What's going on, guys? Welcome to TK's Garage 405. Make sure you like, subscribe, share me around. Help me grow the channel there. Appreciate everybody that's been following me recently. Actually been growing pretty decent there, so I really appreciate all that. I was going to do a Camaro video this week here, but I'm going to kind of show you. I had a bunch of problems with my truck again here this week, so kind of get to that here and show you kind of what's going on. Well, this is what we got going on today. It's weird because it's happening intermittently. Play sounds like it's driver's side though. Sounds not happy. So you guys have seen this truck a whole bunch there. I use it for towing around stuff. I've been buying equipment from my yard and just doing random stuff with it. I'm always on the road. I pick up cars and trucks and just stuff I don't need. And you can see I got a skid steer behind right now. But yeah, so about a couple days ago there, you'll hear there in the video how I started hammering there, and just turned into a chain events. It seems like what they say, everything bad happens in threes. So I drove it home after that, which was a while. It was kind of intermittent off and on or whatever, so I actually hobbled it home from out by Dallas there. And what ended up happening there was, so it was starting to get a little bit of low oil pressure, and this truck's always been like that since I had it, but more recently I started getting the oil changed at the oil change place in town there, because I don't have a place to change it. It's just been like, what do I do with the oil, and it's always raining and whatever. So anyways, so they put 1540 Rotel in for me, but what I've always done is I add a quart over. So normally I add like maybe 3/4 of a quart over, and then I add a little bit of Lucas to it. And so anyways, long story short, I ended up not doing that for the last few oil changes, and the oil pressure was down. And so I had added this, this first time I ever added it to this truck actually was, there's a 8-cylinder engine restore formula. I thought, well, at this point it's got so many miles, it's not going to hurt anything, right? Well, it must have thinned the oil up or something, because it just started rattling like crazy. So, and then when I got on the throttle, whatever, it was getting worse. And then it kind of faded. So when I got home, I wasn't at the oil change due date yet, but I ended up taking it. I actually put some diesel in the engine oil again. I ran it around, warmed it up. I took it, I changed the oil. I got them to change the oil, and after that I put like a full bottle, so a quart of the Lucas oil stabilizer in it. And then I went all the way to North Carolina with it and towed that back. So there you go. So then I've been noticing here, so I'll kind of give you a breakdown too here. So let's kind of talk about this. So just kind of a little back history with this truck here. Kind of give you a little bit of like a cost overview of what it just, the bigger things I could think of off the top of my head that this truck has had recently. So the most recent thing here, it started stumbling on like under wide open throttle there when it started getting up in RPM. So I took it in to Meineke and Fort Smith there, and they said, oh, well, you had one cracked manifold. No, you had one cracked manifold, and the catalytic converters are bad. So I thought, okay, I'll put 4 new O2 sensors, catalytic converter, ypipe, and 2 new manifolds, so everything was brand new because I was like, well, whatever, it's been a good truck, I'll just keep at it, right? So, and I always keep on top of maintenance with this thing, whatever it needs, it gets. So I asked them what they recommended, and that's what they told me to get. So they put it in, blah blah blah, and then it ends up, oh, that's they're saying that the O2s are bad, and yada yada yada, and a whole ordeal. So, anyways, after a little bit of a fight with them, got it back on the road, been driving, and then that was close to probably, I think it was about 3,500 for a grand by the time I paid the labor and stuff, because the catalytic converter is pretty expensive, somewhere in that ballpark. Anyways, probably about 3,500, I think. Okay, so cool. Everything after that was running good. Um, Went quite a while before the check engine that came back on, and that was, I think, just a low oil pressure again. Um, so then I've been more recently driving in here, and I started to notice, like, almost like immediately, that it started ticking a little bit. So I'll just show you guys this. Okay, so the ticking that you heard in the first part of the video sounded more like a lifter tick, but there's an actual exhaust leak, and I think there's actually a couple here. And if you really listen here, if you really get listening, like, it's actually so bad that when I'm driving down the highway, it's actually coming into the cabin. It's burning my eyes, like even standing beside it. So that started getting worse, and it got really bad this trip here. So that's obviously something that needs to get taken care of. So that was kind of this trip. So I'm just breaking it down what's been happening. So if I look tired in the video, I'll explain why here. Okay, so I should be going home and sleeping right now, because the reason that I'm so tired here, so I ended up driving all the way through at 6 in the morning, actually 5 in the morning actually is what it is right now. I drove all the way to North Carolina and all the way back with no sleep, because I stopped at a gas station. I was going to stop last night, get some sleep or whatever, but I just stopped at a gas station for gas, and my truck wouldn't start. And so I fiddled around with it a bunch, played some wires or whatever, finally got it going. Well, then um, I was gonna fill it up with fuel and just continue driving home or whatever after that, because I was scared it wouldn't start again. Well, I forgot because it's getting late and I'm tired, and I accidentally shut it off again, and then it really wouldn't start. So it took me about an hour. I messed around. I don't really know what resolved it. I had fiddled with the wires on the starter, so like, it's all the power's on and everything, but it's showing about maybe like 10 volts or something like that. So obviously not enough to start it. I don't know if these trucks have a thing where it wouldn't even turn over. So I don't know if there's some safety there or whatever, but so anyways, but then once it started totally fine. So like I said, I fiddled with all that. So that's what's been happening now. So I need to deal with that. But this exhaust is a huge pain. I can, even standing that close to it there, like, it's gassing me out. Um, so some of the other big things I'll talk about there, I think I've kind of talked about this in other videos here, but the the bigger things that we've spent money on, like more maintenance type stuff, like more about maybe a month ago, I got all the brakes done on it. I wore them right down. So the aftermarket brakes, I think they put it out last time too, weren't as good. So I think the last time they got done, they were like $1,000. This time they're $1,000 again. There's probably, if I went to go with GM ones, I think the original ones lasted like 250,000 miles. These ones only last like 100. So kind of gives you some food for thought there. The biggest expense wise, otherwise here, since I've owned this truck, which is, I got it with pretty low miles on it. The first time the transmission went, it was like $4,800. They had to replace a couple of things there or whatever. And we didn't realize that they didn't actually build it in house. He told me they did, but they didn't. And I actually had that same shop build another transmission before, and it wasn't that big of a deal, but whatever. Anyway, so, and we figured what happened was, because they didn't rebuild it, they didn't catch that the radiator was bad. So then I drove it for a while again with the new transmission. Didn't last very long, like 12,000 miles, and the transmission went again. So I took it to, because we had just moved out to Oklahoma here, and I took it to a different shop, and they said, well, it's got a bunch of antifreeze in the transmission, so the radiator is bad. So then they replaced the radiator, the transmission again, or well, they rebuilt it or whatever, and it wasn't expensive. Wasn't as expensive because they rebuilt it, but I think all of that stuff was like $4,300. So two back to back, that was pretty expensive. I only paid 15 for the truck, so getting in to be quite a bit. Again, that was kind of an anomaly thing that shouldn't have happened really. So that was kind of the really the bigger expenses of everything I've just done. I changed the oil and the diffs like once since I've had it. I need to do it again, and it actually is due for a transmission flush. But the problem is it's my main truck and I don't have a backup, and so I don't have a real it just seems like I'm always using it. So, but like I said, I'm usually pretty good about maintenance and stuff. Another problem is we don't just have like a quick lube that does all that kind of stuff. It's like they'll do some of my work here, but not everything. So just some little things like that. I see the rear pinion seal is kind of dripping a little bit again. They just checked the oil on it before I left and it was fine, but it's obviously dripping enough to make a little bit of a mess back there. So that needs to be changed again. But really, other than that, it's been, I mean, pretty reliable. It has like 688,000 kilometers on it now, which is crazy that it's never been touched. Like nothing. I mean, essentially just the stock L96. So I really attributed a lot to running 1540 Rotella and putting some of that Lucas in for the dry starts. Now that I put the Lucas back in there with the Rotella, the oil pressure's back to normal, just like it's always been here. So it's always been low. Like I said, it runs about, if you're on the throttle, it'll get up to 40, but most of the time it's about 20 to 25 kind of range there. So yeah. But yeah, so I guess I can't shut it off now because otherwise it won't start here. But I just wanted to kind of show you guys and give you a rundown of what it, and you can see the camper that's on it. I've showed you guys that before. That camper's been on it since I got it. It averages like pulling something like this about 8 to 9 miles per gallon, which is pretty decent. Like this trailer's not crazy heavy, but with that skid steer on there and the trailer, that'd be at least 10,000 pounds. And it's always towed like 10 to 12 is pretty common for me when I'm hauling stuff. Um, and yeah, another thing that for the longest time there, I was running E85 because E85 in Iowa was super cheap, like under $2 a gallon. So that could attribute a little bit to it too. I've actually been thinking, I actually ran some more recently here again, but somebody mentioned in the other video I posted on Instagram when I heard that ticking, they said that sounds like a valve, and it didn't sound like a lifter to me, and I couldn't figure out. I was like, man, it's almost like a rod bolt or something like that. And then I started thinking, well, maybe that does make sense. That would make a lot of sense if it was a sticking valve. So I might run some 85, even though it burns more and it's not really a big savings right now. Just do a little cleaning of the engine again there. But other than that, it's been pretty good truck. It's getting to be the point again here where it's going to be due for tires and things like that. So what we're talking about is maybe I might, now that the price of diesel and gas, sorry, I'm shaking so much here. I'm holding my phone out and it's like my arms are tired because it's late and I'm tired here, but it's early but late for me. So thinking about maybe going back to a diesel truck and just letting my wife drive this one so we have a spare truck still. But if I ever get in a bind and I need it, she could come and rescue me or whatever. But maybe see if it'll actually save me any money on fuel or whatever when I'm doing all this running around. So we'll see how that goes. But so that's what I just wanted to kind of show you guys for today. The only other thing I haven't been able to figure out is the trailer wiring thing, and that's why I don't do my cruising with Kevin Tuesdays out of the truck anymore because it's just nonstop now. I changed the trailer brake switch, that fixed it for a while, then it started again. Then I changed the module. That's like there's a module underneath the spare tire in the back there. That fixed it for a while. Now it's back again. So it's something to do with the trailer wiring because the trailer wiring, the lights never shut off, but the trailer wiring does. So, man, my arm's sore here. So just tired. I know I just need to sleep here, but so anyways, I might take it back to Meineke today or whatever. That was kind of a clown show set up there, taking it and dealing with them, but I might take it back and see if they can at least fix this exhaust because it seems like it's leaking like really bad. So, all right, well, I'm going to hit the road here again. I just wanted to kind of give a different update this week on what's going on with this thing or whatever, but make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. If If you guys want to see my other videos where I've added diesel to the oil and stuff, I usually put like a quart, something somewhere along the lines of that or whatever. I run it around, get it good and warm, and then I take it in and I flush it. Like just drain it and change it, right? So I've done that a bunch of times. Those trucks, I've done that to this truck probably 5 times already. I've done it to a bunch of other vehicles. Not recommending it, but that's so obviously it quieted it down, so it's running just perfectly normal again here. So all right, guys. Well, make sure you like, subscribe, show me around. TK's Garage 405, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Thanks for watching again, guys. Let you guys hear the exhaust when I get on it here.